Capcom's latest entry into the Street Fighter franchise joins this year's list of really good sequels. Following up on the underwhelming 2016 entry that was Street Fighter V, Street Fighter VI offers a rich variety of useful features, a finely executed online hub, and a jam-packed campaign mode that's unlike anything we've ever seen in a Street Fighter game. There's just so much to see and do, and yet it does so without compromising its premier combat system that sets a high bar among fighting games. So join us here today as we look into what could be one of the best entries this iconic series has ever seen. Street Fighter VI isn't all too different from the previous entries from a mechanical standpoint. Special attacks, super arts, and a variety of commands for normal attacks are still there, albeit with some new quirks added to existing movesets. The 18 characters at launch are properly balanced when it comes to featuring the known Street Fighter archetypes, from rushdown fighters like Ken to zoners like Guile, as well as grapplers like Zangief and Manon. It's a solid starting roster. The 6 new bloods are great additions as well. Newcomers like the breakdancing drunken master Jamie, Kimberly with her ninjutsu that comes with a graffiti twist, and Manon with her grappler ballerina fighting style adds a lot of youthful flair into the colorful cast. But what makes Street Fighter VI special from other games are its universal mechanics that come in the form of overdrive specials, drive rush, drive parries, drive reversals, and drive impacts. Every character has access to these 5 powerful abilities, which are all tied to a drive meter. While the effects and execution are the same regardless of character, it's amazing to realize how much it actually adds to the combat's depth. Overdrives function similarly to EX special moves by using 2 bars of the drive gauge to power up special attacks, while Drive Rush allows you to cancel out of certain attacks or close the distance between you and your opponent. Drive parries do exactly what you'd expect it to, while regaining some of your drive. And reversals serve as an effective means of getting yourself out of a sticky situation. Among all of the new mechanics introduced, drive impacts are the ones that really change up the dynamic of Street Fighter VI's combat. At the cost of a single bar in the drive meter, you'll end up with a super armored charged attack that can stagger opponents and leave them open for a full combo if it connects while they're in the middle of an attack. Blocking this move will blow them back and deplete half a bar of their drive meter. Crazy, right? But it doesn't end there, as enemies that get backed into a corner from blocking it will also be open for a combo. Drive impacts are incredibly bonkers as a universal mechanic that, for all its flashiness and fatality, isn't as overpowered as some may have initially thought. Simply looking out for it and countering with your own drive impact will tip the scales in your favor, resulting in tense mind games as you figure out when to execute your own impact or anticipate your enemies. All these new abilities take up the drive meter, and will result in a burnout state if it all gets used up. This results in taking chip damage, being unable to use certain moves, and making you more vulnerable to enemy attacks. Sure, it's a big disadvantage to be in burnout, but still having access to your super moves and still being able to do the same amount of damage makes it far from being an unwinnable situation, and actually makes for some tense moments. These new drive mechanics add a ton of strategic depth to an already exceptional combat system, and is a more fluid improvement over Street Fighter V's more rigid pace. The influence of American street culture is very pronounced in Street Fighter VI's aesthetic. That's why the World Tour intro has graffiti, why there's rap music playing in the background, and why they brought in Lil Wayne to promote the game not just once, but twice. It's definitely a refreshing take on the franchise. Being made on Capcom's RE engine, the visuals are very strong, with realistic lighting, pretty graphic effects, and very detailed character models. There are also a lot of pretty environments to fight in within the World Tour, Battle Hub, and Fighting Ground modes, so the game more or less cleans up very nicely in the graphics department. The sound direction is also very nice, with the characters spouting out decently performed one-liners and such.
No mercy for you.
The soundtrack, as we've said earlier, is also pretty refreshing. There are also all these nice touches, like, for example, how the character would step out of the ring, so to speak, just before the match. And how there's an announcer during fights in Fighting Ground mode who's giving a blow-by-blow account of the action. World Tour is probably one of Street Fighter's most ambitious single-player modes, if not the most. It's a 20 to 25 hour campaign mode where you immerse yourself in the world of Street Fighter with your very own created character. Think of it as something of a fighting game RPG that tends to be reminiscent of the goofiness we see in a Yakuza title. It's absolutely ridiculous to use a spinning bird kick to platform across gaps and be allowed to start fights with literally anyone in the world. Literally anyone. There's exploration to be done, stat altering gear to acquire, and most importantly, moves to learn. One of the most exciting parts of this mode is learning a variety of moves from the existing cast and outfitting your avatar with the most broken moveset ever. There are various minigames that do a terrific job at making players utilize the commands that have practical applications in the main game. There's even a nod to Street Fighter 2 as you're forced to dish out combos in a truck. The enemy variety in the game offers a great way to let players get familiar with the specific scenarios that they would encounter in a traditional Street Fighter round. Certain enemies will favor either low or high attacks, some are airborne, forcing you to learn anti-air techniques, and some would prefer to throw stuff at you, which would force players to learn how to deal with zoner opponents. It starts to become clear that World Tour functions as an innovative and extremely fun way for fighting game novices to slowly grasp the fundamentals of the main game over the course of a playthrough. It's not perfect, however, as it does feature an uninteresting story and a frustrating grind when it comes to learning more moves, not to mention certain optimization issues for the PC version. However, it is still loads of fun despite all of its shortcomings. While we don't expect every fighting game to have a world tour, it is clear that looking for fun and innovative ways for casual players can make a world of difference when it comes to dealing with the high barrier to entry found in so many fighting games. Street Fighter 6 also features the Battle Hub, which is an online lobby/social space where players can bring their world tour characters and queue into ranked and unranked matches. You can even go up to a cabinet like you would in an actual arcade. It's not just about online matches. There are different sections in the hub that allow you to play extreme battles with its own set of rules and gimmicks, a shop where you can purchase more stuff for your avatar, and even avatar battles where you can witness the chaos of pitting your own character against that of other players. The Battle Hub also features a rotating selection of classic Capcom titles like Street Fighter 2 and Final Fight. The online aspect works really well right off the bat. The well-designed netcode results in stable matches against players on the other side of the world and those playing on other systems. It goes without saying that good online systems are vital to any modern fighting game, and Street Fighter 6's capability to ensure a responsive experience while maintaining a wide player base across multiple systems is very impressive. It's also nice to know that despite all of the effort Capcom has placed into the Battle Hub, it isn't forced upon the player. Those that prefer to quickly queue up for matches can simply do so in the menu, and just hop onto the training mode while they wait.
Here comes a new challenger!
It isn't the Battle Hub or World Tour that shows how much effort Capcom has made into making Street Fighter 6 a complete package at launch. The game is filled with a variety of useful features, like intuitive character guides perfect for learning new characters, combo trials, crossplay, and an amazing training mode that has everything you need right down to the most specific frame. A lot of praise should also be given to Capcom for their efforts in making Street Fighter 6 enjoyable for those who aren't experienced in fighting games. And we're not just talking about World Tour. The modern control scheme is kind of reminiscent of Smash Bros as moves are mapped to a button and direction. Combos can be executed with the help of an assist button while also pressing one of the attack buttons. It's a great stepping stone for newbies, ensuring they can find some enjoyment in the game before eventually transitioning into the classic control scheme. Street Fighter 6 ain't perfect, but at the same time, it offers a bunch of features one should expect from modern fighting games. It's a complete package at launch with more to offer in the coming months. Sure, World Tour has an uninteresting story, tedious grind mechanics, and unoptimized performance that literally slows down the experience in every platform. But it all feels so trivial in light of the loads of other stuff the game does exceptionally well. So we're giving Street Fighter 6 a 7.8 out of 10. It feels like a step up for fighting games with its progressive and innovative ways of welcoming newcomers, solid universal mechanics added to a world-class combat system, ambitious game modes, a rich variety of features, and an excellent netcode. So if you're a seasoned fighter or a total newbie still struggling to pull off a Hadouken, Street Fighter 6 is worthy of your time and commitment. What do you guys think about the latest Street Fighter entry? Do you guys think it's gonna be the fighting game for the next half decade or so? Or do you think another game is gonna be taking that title? Let us know in the comments below. If you want to see more on the latest gaming related content, check out the rest of our videos. We cover the latest gaming news, reviews, and all things fun in gaming. You can also check our Twitter to stay tuned for our latest content. This is Game 8 Information Station, and we'll see you guys in the next one.